BBQ West Rucker Go Balls 24/7 here inside of Rupp Arena, where the crew here at Rupp is quickly disassembling the arena and trying to get Tennessee out of here because they are not happy that Tennessee is headed to the Sweet 16 for the third consecutive season. It's the first time in program history that Tennessee is making 3 consecutive trips to the Sweet 16. 11th trip overall in program history, the 4th time under Rick Barnes, and they are headed to the Sweet 16 because they handled business pretty swiftly against UCLA 67-58.
Yeah, Ben, we knew that was going to be a really physical game, right? I mean, in the first 10 minutes, you were like, whoever wins this game is going to be glad they're not playing in 2 days because it was physical. But I tell you, Tennessee made a tweak there at the end of the first half, went to kind of that 1-2-2 trap, and they said afterward that they were like, it wasn't part of the game plan. It was just something to show occasionally. And when it was giving UCLA problems, they stepped up with it even more, and it worked, and it really turned the tide there. I mean, they were the kind of, if you want to talk about the middle 8 or whatever, I mean, that's exactly where Tennessee won this game. Just a really good job to be, I think, a team that's pretty good, and a team that if Scott Clark hadn't been in foul trouble in the first half, may have been a little tighter, but Tennessee took advantage of that, and Tennessee made plays. And I mean, this game, the final score does not do justice. This was a rout.
Yeah, and one of the assistant coaches in the locker room, we just got done with post-game media. Wes was in the press conference room with the head coach, and I was in the locker room talking to the players and the assistant coaches. One of them said it was they have 3 of the full court presses in their playbook, and that's one that they haven't really gone to a ton.
Yeah.
And I thought this part was the most interesting. He said that one's not even their most aggressive form of a full court press.
Yeah, I mean, you could tell because it was kind of that I think it was a 1-2-2 is what it looked like. They're kind of setting the bait and then trapping. It's like a pure trap in that they're getting it, they're funneling the ball to a hot zone, and then they're pressing when it gets there. And I don't know if it was because Clark wasn't out there to help with the ball handling. I don't know what it was. They've got some other guards on that team too. But those guys, Tennessee clogged up the passing lanes. Chaz Lanier continued showing he's a hell of a shooter, but he's turning into a more well-rounded basketball player. And that really turned the game, but also just, I mean, on the glass, Tennessee looked better than it has, I'd say. And I don't remember every single game, but it feels like it's been 2 or 3 weeks since we've seen them really be that good on the boards.
And it was a huge difference in the game. And early on, as you mentioned, I mean, it was an all-out fist fight and very physical game. Neither team really giving an inch, but I think eventually the big man, 7'3" Spaniard, wore down for UCLA. I think that's why you didn't see much of him in the second half, and credit to Felix Okpara and Cade Phillips and even Igor Milicic Jr. As we have some crew members stepping on the floor here, which is why we're shaking a little bit. But Tennessee in the locker room talked about how they challenged Igor and Felix to rebound better, to your point, and both of them combined for 14 rebounds tonight. I mean, they were absolutely pivotal, and they didn't necessarily play perfect basketball, but they kept going at it. They kept chipping away, and eventually UCLA quit chipping at it. Tennessee kept on, and Tennessee, I mean, that was a big reason Tennessee won tonight. Yeah,
I mean, lineup combinations are supposed to give you different flavors, right? And UCLA is 2 different teams. When the big shade tree's out there, they're a different kind of team, and when both of those versions are good, but the one when he's in there, it's hard to score around the rim. It just is. You have to be clever. You got to be quick. You got to use reverse. Use the rim for protection there. They were having not much success at all against him. I mean, he was causing all kinds of problems. Made a tweak again. They just kind of kept going at him. And I think he got a little bit tired. And you saw in the second half, Ben, the very first possession, Ziegler goes right to the hole and scores, and then immediately UCLA put Shade Tree back in there, but it didn't matter this time. Tennessee had finally gotten a rhythm, and those big guys, I don't know, the numbers look pretty good, but them on the glass, they were fantastic.
They were, and they were terrific shooting the basketball as well. Double-digit three-pointers for Tennessee tonight. That's right, a Tennessee offense made double-digit threes in an NCAA tournament game in the month of March. That did happen tonight, and a big reason it happened is because Chaz Lanier just continues to elevate his game at the best time of the year. Rod Clark, the assistant coach, told me that he's looking like a Tennessee basketball player in terms of the toughness and ability to impact the game in every manner, in multiple facets, and that's what you're seeing from Chaz. Of course, he's bringing the offensive punch, and he was terrific. But you're seeing a different Chaz when it matters most, and it's the absolute best version of himself.
Yeah, when you add a transfer player into your program, right? Either you're not going to become that player becomes you. When it's successful, that player brings his own flavor, but he also blends in with what is going on. And Lanier's always had the humility that Tennessee wants in its players. He's always had the desire to do things the way they want a Tennessee player to do. He never played as much defense before. He had to learn some new things. He had to learn a new offense. And, the only complaint I have tonight is that he only took 5 threes. It felt like one of those nights where it's like, he could score 40 if he wants. He could, but he stops shooting. He's like, I'm 20, I'm good. This game's done. Put it away. We're good. But no, he's the busting that ball loose, and that and one there at the end of the first half.
And yelling at the UCLA bench.
Just gigantic play. Yeah, calm, cool. Chaz Lanier kind of let one roar there. But listen. Like, this is the time of year where you don't just need guys to be who they are. They need to be who they are in every way. But they have to have something else too. Your team has to have something else. And Tennessee's always looked like a team to me that was kind of one or two little improvements here or there from being like a legit Final Four national title contender. And Lanier being a two-way guy, that helps a lot. And the way Ziegler controls games helps quite a bit too.
Yeah, Ziegler was phenomenal again tonight, and Tennessee sure did look like a legitimate Final Four contender with the way it played this weekend in Lexington against Wofford, and tonight against UCLA. Tennessee will now play either Illinois or Kentucky, which obviously Tennessee has played both of those teams this season already to various degrees and different results. Those two teams play tomorrow, and we'll see who Tennessee plays in Indianapolis next Friday and Sunday in Indianapolis. So Wes and I are going to get out of Rupp Arena before they pack us up with all these other seats that they're tearing down and get on to our postgame.
Hey, they've been
coverage.
Nice. These guys, they've been nice. They've been first class this whole week. They'd rather be in Milwaukee, but they're here. They're doing their thing. They're being pros, and of course, they're getting a $10 or $20 million whirlwind from all this too. But they've been first class all weekend.
They absolutely have. So make sure you're locked into GoVols247.com for all of your Tennessee basketball coverage. He's Wes Rucker. I'm Ben McKee.